Also, I want to point out that the Talmud has a variation, and I'm going to show that this is a picture of this variation that appears in the Talmud, but this is coming from a dictionary of the Talmud, and it's spelled Yad Shin Wah. And we never see this variation in the Tanakh ever, only in the Talmud, and it directly refers to Yahushua, and it tells you that right in this dictionary. If you look up what this means, you will find out that it is an acronym for a curse formula that was Yamak Shimo Vizikro, which means may his name and memory be obliterated. And what I want you to see is what they blotted out of Yahushua's name in the shortened form Yeshu is Yahuwah. They took off the Yahu, and they took off the ayin, which makes the ah sound on the end. So ultimately they took off the phonetics of Yahuwah. They took it off of the name. So the name that they were talking about being obliterated and blotted out was the name of Yahuwah's name. And they blotted that off of the Son's name. They disgraced it. Now, this is interesting though nonetheless, because if you look up in the Talmud, they have some things written about Yahushua. Some people ask me, well, how do you even know Yahushua existed? Well, if anybody wanted to deny him walking the earth, wouldn't it have been the people who wrote the Talmud? Wouldn't it have been those who were trying to oppose Yahushua? It's interesting that in the Talmud they call Yahushua a magician and a sorcerer. They defame him, but they give you just enough information to know that he existed and he did mighty things. It tells you that he did all these works, and there's even a section that tells you that he did these different works and he did it through the power of the name of Yahuwah. But it says in the sacred name, and what they say that he did was they cut out the 4 letters out of a scroll and they attached it to his belly and he walked around with it under his clothing. But throw away all that and just look at what it's telling you here. It's saying this man did mighty works and he did it in the name of Yahuwah. So I mean there's things in there that let us know that he existed, references to him. But another thing I find interesting is in the Talmud, for Joshua the son of Nun, when you look up his name, you find his name spelled fully more times than you found it spelled defectively. You find Yad Ha Wal Shin Wal Ayin numerous places in the Talmud. So the Talmud itself even lets you know that yeah, they were calling Yahushua Yeshu, but they let you know that Yahushua the son of Nun, his name was spelled with full 6-letter spelling. Also to be Yahushua, because the full 6-letter spelling needs no vowel points. It's Yahushua every time. Alright, so it appears in the Talmud, but the big thing that I wanted to bring your attention to through this whole video was that the name Yahushua appears more times in the 6-letter format in our oldest scrolls. I just praise Yahuwah for the opportunity to even show this to you. I'm going to show you right now a picture of the name of Yahushua. Here you see Yad, Ha, Wal, Shin, Wal, Ayin. Full 6-letter spelling. And this comes from the book of Joshua in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It dates to a century before this era, before Yahushua walked the earth. So this dates a century before he even walked the earth, and this shows you there's no vowel points because it's in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and that is definitely Yahushua, and it appears in the book of Joshua chapter 6. Now this was sort of hard to get a hold of because the Dead Sea Scrolls are hard to access right now. It's hard to get in to search them, but they will be online soon, and what I have said in this teaching that the name is Yahushua will stand the test of time when people begin to look at it. Because what's interesting is the Masoretic text, the name, the full 6-letter spelling never appears in the book of Joshua. Never, not once. And this is definitely from the book of Joshua chapter 6. We received this directly from the Antiquities Department over in Yisrael, where they have the Dead Sea Scrolls. So we know that it should appear more times than that. Now here's a transliterated form that, you know, it's not the actual fragment, but here we have a transliterated form that shows us that the name of Yahushua should appear in 2 places in a series of 5 verses in Joshua chapter 6. So it should appear numerous of times just in this one book, the book of Joshua. And this is definitely from the book of Joshua. I even took it and did a word-for-word comparison with the Masoretic text. And it is definitely Joshua chapter 6, and there's no way to get around it. So we see the name of Yahushua stands the test of time, that if the argument it only appears twice, you look in the Dead Sea Scrolls, it appears twice and only 4 verses, in a series of 4 verses in the book of Joshua. So you know it appears more than that in the whole book. You know that it's going to appear numerous times in the text. And again, keep in mind that the Dead Sea Scrolls predates the Masoretic text that they use to point out that it appeared, their defective spelling appears 216 times. The Dead Sea Scrolls predates the Masoretic text by over 1,000 years. The Masoretes weren't even heard of during this time. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, you will find the defective form. There's nothing wrong with the defective form. It's just the way it is written. But because there's no vowel points and they use full and defective, you find the full form more often than in the Masoretic text. Because they wanted you to see the full form more often, so you knew that that's definitely how it's pronounced. Here's another example from 4Q559. This is a biblical chronology. At the end of line 6, you see the full letters spelling, the full 6-letter spelling in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And again, there are many more. I don't have the time or the resources right now to provide them all, but I pray you will take this information, do your diligent studies, pray before Yahuwah, seek His face about the things that are presented, whether they be true or not. Now I want to look at what this name means in the pictographic Hebraic language. The Yad is hand. The Ha is a man. It means to behold. The Wah is a nail. So here we have hand, behold, nail. The Sheen is a set of teeth, and it has variations of what it can mean. One meaning is sharp. And then you have the next letter, the Wah, which is a nail again, and then you have an ayin, which can mean multiple things. It can mean an eye. It can mean also wells. So this name, Yad Ha Wah Shin Wah Ayin, can mean the hand, behold, nail. The sharp nail brings sight, opens the eye. Or it can mean the sharp nail brings you to wells. Remember, Yahushua said that if any man is thirsty, let him come unto me, and out of his belly shall come forth well springs of life, living waters. So not only that, but the Shin Wal Ayin can represent, the Shin can be teeth. The Wal represents the nail, it represents sacrifice. So it represents eating the sacrifice. And the Ayin means, the word Ayin means well also. So it can mean eating the sacrifice and drinking from the well. That is Shua. That is Yahushua. Hand, behold, nail. The sharp nail leads you to waters of life. The sharp nail opens your eyes and brings the resurrection when you open your eyes again, when you see clearly. Remember, Yahushua said, if any man has an eye to see or an ear to hear, and he said, if your eye be singular, it should be full of light. Really, he said, if your eye is tov or good, it will be full of light. So we see these different things. This is what Yahushua's name points to, and notice that it points to Yahuwah's name.